Hi, everyone. Welcome to week one of AENG 201. It's a pleasure to be able to get to know you, but also to be able to learn more about literature alongside you. Now, during this first week, honestly, there's going to be a lot that will be going on that may be unfamiliar, but it's a routine that will continue to follow for the rest of our course. The course is seven weeks long. And remember that we have live sessions in weeks 1, 3, 5, and 7, the odd numbered weeks. So this week we're starting off right away with our live session on Monday night. It's from 6 to 8 p.m. And I do want you to know that we will use the time. It's precious time, and there will be moments later on in the course where I may back off just a little bit or give you a task to do on your own instead of meeting together as a group. But we're going to cherish the time that we do have together. And so on Monday, we will meet together for the first time. I am hoping that you've already secured your textbooks. What I have done in this 2020 version of the course is to try and have a different point of view, a different angle from which to approach literature. In the past, we have focused pretty heavily on the classical world, the classical tradition. You may have already had experience with the classical tradition through your philosophy course, if you've had one, or some other aspect, especially theology. Theology expects that you know about the ancient Greeks, and it provides an understanding of the world at the time of Christ. And I certainly don't want to shortchange that experience. So during this first week, you are focusing on that Greek and Roman world, the classical world, and that means Greek mythology. And so you've got 10 myths that you need to read. There are also some videos that go with some of the myths, and I'm hoping that you can view all of the videos and really process the stories. One of the things that I recommend you do as you read these stories and as you watch the videos, try yourself to retell the story. And don't forget that you do need to know certain Greek god names. And there are different names in Greek and in the Roman world. So the Latin versions of the Greek names. Just remember that the Latin versions of the gods are generally the planets in our solar system. You've got Mars and Jupiter and Venus, etc. So I would recommend that you would have some basic research on the Greek gods so that you know which god or goddess is participating in the story. But largely, the 10 myths are stories about heroes, Greek heroes. And you're going to hopefully see some common threads as you go through the 10 stories. And many of them are connected to each other. So you have your first reading quiz on Thursday of this first week. And that reading quiz, it's only going to be 5 questions long. If you take some brief basic notes as you go through the myths, and you might want to actually, do a little bit of research on Wikipedia just to make sure you know what the Greek god is god of or goddess of. And when you do that, it's honestly going to be pretty clear when you get to the quiz whether you've understood those stories or not. I'm not trying to play a gotcha game. I'm trying to help you focus as you read and focus on the characters, focus on the events that happen. And often myths revolve around objects, so don't forget to and pay attention to those as well. So before Thursday, you have your first discussion board posts due. And for each week, you have 2 prompts, basically 2 questions, although sometimes a question will have a sub-question or 2. And feel free to address any of those. Each of your initial responses, I'll call them initial posts, those need to be at least 150 words long. That's the minimum for your initial post for each prompt. So that'd be 300 words total, right? 150 for each initial post. Then you also need to respond to a peer, and that response to a peer and what the peer has already posted, that has a 50-word minimum, much easier to get to. It's just really a 2-3 sentences. So I'm hoping that you will see that this minimum is very easy to accomplish. And I just want to stress right now, that's your bread and butter. You don't want to cut that short and then lose points, because those points may help you down the road. So I want everyone to have their initial posts done by Wednesday of the week. And that gives your class and your classmates, it gives them a chance to respond to you. And so the responses to peers need to be in by Saturday night, which is the end of our week. So Sunday morning is the beginning of each new week. And I will be emailing you each week to just kind of set the agenda for you. But on Blackboard, you really have all you need in these videos and in the instructions that are given. But I'm looking forward to answering your questions in our live session on Monday night. Now, this first week, it's a week to get used to things. And so Friday is maybe a little bit of a break. And then Saturday, you have your responses to peers on the discussion board due. You also will have a thesis statement that needs to be submitted. And that is a part of what we'll call the culpa, the culminating paper of this entire course. And this paper will incorporate as many ideas as possible from what we're talking about together, what we're learning about. But the main thing you need to know is that it's a contrast paper, contrasting the two worldviews of the two books, the two texts that we have for this course. The first text we will be reading is A Pilgrim's Progress, and the second text is The Great Gatsby. And some of you may have already read The Great Gatsby, and that's wonderful. Just know that we will be zooming in. One of the main goals we have in this course is close reading. And so you're going to be learning how to do close reading during that first week. And then the second week, you will actually be producing an analysis, just a brief 1 to 1.5 page analysis of a brief passage. And I have given instructions on Blackboard and in the syllabus, so please look at those carefully. But the main thing is that you have plenty of time to ask questions and get used to close reading. So on Saturday, you will be turning in a thesis statement for the culpa, which is this culminating paper. And we will be building the culminating paper over the entire course. During weeks 1 and 2, we're building the introduction of the paper. And so we're starting fairly slowly. And as you read, I want to encourage you to be paying attention to things that might help you with your culminating paper. One of the main things that you're looking for is examples of a motif. The motifs are listed in a document on week 1 at the very top. It says Culpa Motifs, and those will be choices for you to choose your own motif from, and you'll submit that to me during the first week. After our live session, you'll have a chance to claim your motif, and then you'll submit your thesis on Saturday by Saturday night. And then by the second week, you will have already been building your introduction to your longer essay, and you'll be thinking about your motif as you create your first analysis of a passage. So just keep in mind that everything in this course should be working together. And if you ever feel overwhelmed, please send me an email. Let's set up a Collaborate Ultra conversation so that we can talk together, pray together, and I can comfort you. And that's really what I intend to do. I want you to know that we'll make it through this together, and I look forward to being able to meet you and get this started during week 1. God bless your week, and I hope that if you do have questions, you'll let me know. Thanks.